Hello everyone, today I will show you an interesting game with a huge number of victims. e4 d6, d4, knight, f6, knight, c3, w6. Black builds up the defense of Pertz-Ufintsev. There is such a debut, it is not played often, but in principle you can meet it. It is not as common, for example, as a socialist defense or just answer even e5, but this debut is also normal and rake. If you know its variants, then you can use it in a calm way. I don't see anything wrong with it. Bishop g is 5, bishop g is 7. That is, they control point e5 somewhere, they have prepared castling, the bishop is open, the knight is in the game, the bishop will open after the knight retreats. There are fields for the development of the second knight. In principle, everything is fine. f4, white take over the space, castling and e5 go to ram. Here black should have played a knight on the field f4, not to retreat somewhere back, and then on the move knight f3, play f6, attack the bishop and slowly push him back. Then black would even have a better position. Instead, they played very passively. They moved away with a knight to the e8 field, but so far this is not their most important mistake or problem. The knights in 3 slowly develop further white, the knight d is 7 and ash is 4. And look, it seems that the move of ash4 seems to be very interesting. White, of course, their king remained in the center, but now they want to carry out some kind of lightning attack on the enemy monarch. There are 4 moves as they begin to roll the pawn along the edge, but the bishop also has an obvious problem. Now it can also be won in one move, but first let me show you how to play it. It was necessary to play with a knight on the field at 6, substitute your knight, sit on the capture with a pawn and win back the opponent's bishop. But it would seem that everything, the winning move is already 4, you get a whole figure, it's not good, because white doesn't care about this bishop. His like bait here. They play as much as 5 and take away the knight as much. Now the king of the blacks is slowly beginning to open up. The knight goes to the field b6, opening the white field bishop, in order to somehow cover the white fields. And then the bishop d3. And then black plays f6. This is an absolutely lousy move. It was necessary to play over the winter on the field of d7, to offer a change for the capture, for another capture, as a result, a change. And without the queen, it will not be so easy to attack white, despite the fact that they now do not have enough pieces for 2 pawns, their pieces are much more active. Here you can probably pick up Lazia and take it. Well, throw in the second hole, then probably rock somewhere and double climb on the edge again. As a result, rook takes 2 pawns for 2 light pieces. Interestingly, f6 has been played and the white pawn is taken on f6. Here the position becomes even more complicated, even more twisted. It was necessary to take the knight, or rather, it was not necessary to take the knight, it was necessary to take a pawn on the field and 5. That's very strange. That is, they substitute a figure for you, you can't take it. After the capture, he would have been singing on the queen, they would have eaten him for the capture. And here the rook sacrifice is absolutely, it would seem, delusional, but the queen flies in and starts to chess and chase the king here, and the other pieces can't help their king at all, because they are not in the game. Not an bishop, he is generally in a corner, and most likely no one from the rest will be lost in the next move. And here, in general, the engine writes a forced checkmate 15 moves. Well, in 15 moves, of course, I will not count the checkmate, I will not show it, but here the position of clearly white should be won. The main thing is not to mess up. So what happens if you take the knight? The same rook arrives to take the knight, there are already 8 checks on the field. If you take the king, then the checkmate will be very fast. Check the queen from the field of ash5 and checkmate from the field of ash7. Just like that, very simply, elegantly, without a knight and a rook, white mats. And if you take it with an bishop, is there really a mate there too? Yes, there is also a checkmate, and I will now show you a computer version for 8 moves, but it will be more or less reasonable. Attack the mat. The knight will have to defend itself, give up the knight. You will have to defend the rook, give it to the rook. We don't take the bishop to retreat, we bring our bishop to strengthen this very important pawn. Here black is taken away to move away with the bishop, and we don't even check, we attack the checkmate in one move. Here it is necessary to retreat with a pawn, to check with a king. It doesn't matter where the pawn went, because check and checkmate is put with such a beautiful transformation of the queen pawn. Here is such a complete prank of Pepe Ufintsev, which I showed you today. But this is not because there is some kind of incorrect or bad debut, because black made several mistakes, inaccuracies, and played passively at times. That is, if you play correctly, then almost all the games, that is, in fact, chess is such a game, if both players play exactly, then it's a draw. No matter how hard you try, it's a draw. But we are people, we are not machines, we make mistakes, this is normal. The one who does nothing is not mistaken. Therefore, friends, play chess, develop, subscribe to the channel, put likes, write comments. I wish you happiness, health, and of course a peaceful sky over your head. Bye bye.